This is a support video to help you find information. And on previous video, we were looking at the blue whale, which is an endangered whale species throughout the world. There's only up to possibly 15,000 individuals left. And what we want to do is look at, it says habitat and ecology in detail. So you should open that up. All right, its generation length is 30.8 years, which means that's when a female, uh, each generation has a certain length from being a baby to an adult, right? And so that's the length. It takes a few years for a baby to be born, or the female is pregnant for about 2 years, I think. So here is the detail, habitat and ecology. So you have to read through this. And don't forget, if you don't feel like you're a great reader, then you can always open up your Google text to read, right? And you can highlight it and you can listen to it, okay? So as long as you open up and you can play it. So krill, and if you don't know what a word is, you want to go look it up, but krill is like shrimp. So these blue whales, imagine a huge whale and it's just feeding on small little krill, but it has to feed on thousands and thousands. So you'll read this, you'll learn about the migration patterns, okay, where its habitat is, of course, is in the ocean. And then the threats in detail. Now, when you first see the threats in detail, they're going to be closed. You're going to open them up. And it says the main threat to blue whales in the past was direct exploitation, which only became possible on a regular basis in the modern era using deck-mounted harpoon cannons. Direct exploitation means they were hunted and killed for their meat and their fat. Their fat was turned into oil. All right, and people that supplies a lot of meat and fat, right? So they were hunted primarily in Japan and Norway. We hunted them too. Americans hunted them up until the mid 1900s, I believe. But this will tell you it was depleted. Their population in the Antarctic and North Atlantic were depleted to the low hundreds by the time whaling ceased in the 1960s and 70s. They've increased, though, since their population is increased, and because they are legally protected worldwide since 1966, although they continued to be caught illegally by former USSR fleets until 1972. So the last recorded deliberate catches were off Spain. So here's where you want to read. This is going to give you some detail about why they are still on the endangered species list. And also, so here it says that they have scar wounds of the blue whales in the Gulf of St. Lawrence photo identification catalog. 60% appear to have scars or wounds resulting from ship strikes. So if they end up in the shipping lanes, in very busy shipping lanes, they get hit and they can die from these wounds. And so as you read through this, you can see, well, what is the real main threat? And then what we see is because of global warming, and I do want you to see if you can find the connection from why your animal or plant is endangered to climate change. You'll see that the main food of the Antarctic blue whales are predicted to decline this century due to both the reduced ocean productivity associated with warming, and when they're talking about warming, they're talking about climate change, and to increasing ocean acidity that limits their shell building. So basically, their food is krill. Krill is like a shrimp. Shrimp have shells, and because as the ocean warms, Acidity of the ocean increases, which when you put shells into acid, the carbonic acid will basically decay the shells. So this is basically telling you that they're basically the biggest threats we have are that the one they were used as a biological resource, so their numbers declined. And then they are that was in the past. So this threat was in the past. Their species is being stressed because of the shipping lanes, and their ecosystem is being stressed because of global climate change in the oceans. Their habitat is shifting, and climate change and severe weather. So these are all basically the threats. All right, then you can go out once you've gotten this information and you put it into your resource table, in your annotated resource table, then you can go out and you can find some more information. There might be some links here you can open up, and it says search term Balaenoptera musculus. So you might want to use this search term, all right, and you could actually go into the internet and find out why that why they're decreasing in numbers.